Hi everyone. Okay, so this week we have a watercolor painting that we are going to do with these really colorful and creative flowers. This semester we were going to get really heavy into painting, but as you know, we're all at home and we don't all have the supplies that we would have had in the classroom. So we are going to have to just make do. Hopefully all of you have watercolors by now, so we are going to experiment with watercolors this week. Remember, just watch this video all the way through. Watercolors is kind of a hard medium to conquer, but if you take the steps that I've put here before you and then just follow along, you'll be okay. So we're going to start with just one color, and this is going to be very organic. I just want you to start putting down a color and not even really kind of thinking about it, kind of in a meditative, spiritual, creative state. Just kind of start pushing your paint around the page, okay? Thinking about where you think those flowers would be if they were in a vase in a creative group of flowers. So I'm using a lot of water. Sometimes I'm not even going into my paint. I am just going straight into the water and or the color that I'm using, okay? Now as you can see, I'm kind of leaving some white areas open here. And you're gonna see that we're gonna go in with another color on those. I chose kind of a yellow orangey color to do that, and I am just kind of putting that paint down there on that page. You see how it's kind of taking hold of the other paint that's down there, and it's starting to really crawl and creep around. This is where I really love watercolors, okay? Because it may not look like something to you right now, but remember, we're going to finish off with another medium of whatever you choose. So the next step is we're going to put in, this is where I want you to go. I want you to just stay right here. This is a little bit dry at this point, okay? The next step is we're going to put a vase in, and I'm choosing my color right now. I didn't really know what color I wanted, so see? There, just go with it, okay? Very organic. I'm going to choose a blue, but I'm getting the blue that I really want to use mixed up, and then I am going to just kind of go in. See how I'm kind of unsure of where I want to start? That's how I want you to be, okay? That's with watercolors, you really have to be very intentional. And you can do whatever shape of the vase that you want for your flowers. It can be round, it can be kind of a big, bulky ellipse kind of shape, or it can be like this with the triangle. Or not triangle, I'm sorry, with the rectangle. So I just put one little basic color down there, excuse me. And see how the water is kind of grabbing that yellow up there? Let it happen, okay? You have to let those things happen, and then see how I'm kind of choosing my colors, and then I have a piece of paper underneath this that I test my colors on. I'm going in with the leaves now, and I am just letting that watercolor kind of grab a hold of whatever other colors are around there, and I'm sort of kind of getting the shapes of what the leaves might be, okay? And then letting the water kind of gravitate and do its own thing, okay? You don't have to put too many, just put a few around in, and as you can see, it's starting to take shape, but I love how those little happy accidents are happening with the water kind of leaning in and doing whatever it really wants to do. Next step is to put your background in. So let's put your tablecloth in. I don't know if anybody uses tablecloths anymore, but we are going to put a tablecloth in. So I want you to choose a color. We are going to add some patterns in at the end. See how that watercolor kind of grabbed a hold of that blue? Let it happen. Don't try to fix it, okay? Because there's nothing to fix. That's what watercolor is. You have to just let it do its own thing, and let it morph into what it's going to be. Okay, so here we are. Next step, this is still a little bit wet, but I am going in with the original color that I chose, that I started with, and I'm not using that much water, but I'm putting in some kind of opaque. It looks like it's darker, but it's not. It's because we used a lot of water at the beginning. So some little darker shaded areas of where I think these would be in the bouquet of flowers that we have. Okay, just let your hand guide you. Let your eye and your hand guide you. Here we have the next step, and I took a hair dryer and I dried my watercolor piece, and as you can see, the green, whenever I was hitting it with the hair dryer, the green decided to do its own thing and leave the page. And at first I kind of freaked out, and then I was just like, you know what, I really kind of like this. So I kept it instead of trying to get it off of the page, or take a paper towel. I just let it happen. I think that it really adds some dimension to the flowers and to the painting. Now I'm picking up a marker. You can use whatever you want. You can use colored pencils, you can use crayons. And I'm adding some stamens and adding some dimension to the flowers that are in the bouquet here. And with the color, now remember, this is a dried piece. Do not go in. I mean, you could if you wanted to, but it's gonna probably be a little bit more messy than what you would want. So I'm just going in, I'm defining maybe the edges of the flowers, putting some stamens in. Stamens are the middle part of the flower. Get really creative, guys. Just go in there and let your eye and your hand play around with the painting and start putting some details in. Like with these leaves, now remember I kind of put the shape in, but now I'm kind of going in and I'm not outlining the whole thing. I'm just kind of putting some lines in there, and letting those lines in your eye figure out what this is. Okay, I love how that green kind of took hold and went off the page. So this is the last little leaf here. No, there's one more, but you're gonna see that I don't see it until later. So I want you to add some details into your vase. I'm doing some polka dots here, and just putting some polka dots in and a little horizontal pattern. Now I didn't have a light blue, so you're going to see that I used just that outline of the polka dot, and because I didn't have a light blue. Now if I had a light blue, I would have went in with a light blue, as you're going to see here in a minute, because I want your vase to kind of go from dark to light. Now you're seeing me put in just what the hint of the polka dots would be. Okay, you can choose whatever shape or pattern that you want. It can be pyramids or triangles or lines. It can be squiggly lines. It can be hearts. Whatever you want. just as long as you put a pattern in with whatever that you're using, okay? And don't define the whole vase. I just want a few little marks, okay? I want the watercolor to be the most prominent thing in your painting, okay? Oh, see, I found the leaf. So I found that little leaf just sitting there. I was like, oh, that looks like a leaf. So I went in there and I kind of defined it a little bit more. The next step is going to be a pattern in the tablecloth. So I don't, like I said, I don't know if anybody really uses tablecloths anymore. I don't. But to me, it was very nostalgic. We grew up with tablecloths. So find a pattern. You can even Google it if you want. That would be kind of cool. Google some tablecloths and try to find a pattern that you like, and then go in and start putting that pattern in. I really didn't know what I was going to do whenever I started, so I was just like, oh, wonder what this would look like. And then I just went in after it. You can do checkered. That would be cool. Do a little checkered. It would be very summer-like to do a checkered tablecloth. Do some flowers to kind of be similar to the bouquet of flowers that it's sitting on. We're not going to put any drop shadows in this. We're just going to let it be very organic in here. So I don't want y'all to mess with that, because it would probably mess up the watercolor painting also. I'm going to finish up with my pattern here. And then the last step is I'm going to add just a little bit of color to the background, and I want it to be a very light color that you choose, okay? So and to get it to be a light color, you have to use a lot of water, okay? So as you see, I'm kind of testing it out on my paper before I go onto my paper, on a separate paper. And then I went in, I grabbed a lot of water. Okay, so grab a lot of water and just start pushing it around your paper on the background. And then remember, lots of water. I did not pick up that color very much, okay, or the paint color. And if it mixes with that marker, the green marker, which is really cool, just let it happen, okay? It gives it a lot of dimension and really just makes it into a beautiful painting. The last step is I want you to add a quote or a saying to your painting. I do it in pencil first, and then because you can always erase with a pencil, you can't erase a pen or a marker. So if you have a really pretty handwriting, maybe somebody in your household has a pretty handwriting, do it in pencil first, and then go over it in ink. I chose ink here, so and then I didn't erase the pencil marks, but wait for the ink to dry, and then you can go in and erase the pencil marks, and you're gonna have this beautiful painting with a really happy saying on it. Okay, so I want you to be very intentional with your brush strokes. Use lots of water, and have a really creative time with this. Remember, if you mess up, just start over. I mean, watercolor is really kind of hard, and I'm not there to kind of guide you through it. So you can always call me, email me, video chat me, okay? Don't call me. I mean, you can call me on Google Chat. All right, guys, you have your lesson for this week, and I hope to see some really amazing paintings on Friday.